Hey there, how's it going? We're glad to have you all here from around the world. If you're new, welcome to the family. Don't forget to like and subscribe. So imagine this. Nuclear bombers, stealth jets, and three of the most powerful United States aircraft carriers all mobilized. Not for World War III, but to try and crush a small armed movement from one of the poorest countries in the world, Yemen. This wasn't a war designed by Washington, nor planned by Tel Aviv. Yet here the world stood, facing a new reality. What started as just a few missiles launched from Yemen's coast turned into air raid sirens ringing across Tel Aviv. The flashes of missile fire lit up the Red Sea and the Pacific Ocean. Well, it hasn't been so peaceful since a Houthi missile sank the first ship, sending it to the ocean floor. The Houthis declared full support for Gaza and shut down the Bab al-Mandab Strait, disrupting 15% of global trade and effectively halting traffic to Eilat port. But did the Houthis stop there? Not even close. The battle moved from the sea to the skies, and Ben Gurion Airport got caught in the crossfire. In response, Washington and Tel Aviv launched heavy airstrikes on Houthi-held areas in Sana'a, Hodeidah, and other parts of Yemen. Airports, seaports, and power stations were all targeted. Now let's break it down and show you the real damage, on both sides. What did America and Israel lose? Did the Houthis' attacks actually make an impact? What price did the Houthis pay? What's the role of Russian and Chinese intelligence? And why did the United States suddenly pull out of the Yemen war? We've got the answers coming up in this video. Stay with us. The first shot. Yahya Saree, the Houthis' military spokesperson, announced, "We are closing the Red Sea and Bab al-Mandab to any ship heading to Israel. We're warning all shipping companies. Any ship violating this ban will be targeted." And with that, the Houthis declared war. Soon after, Maritime Security reported multiple incidents, most notably the sinking of the British cargo ship Rubimar, which was carrying chemicals and high-pressure gas canisters. The resulting leak near the Yemeni coast was dangerous enough that dozens of insurance companies reclassified the Red Sea as an active war zone. And the attacks didn't stop there. At least 7 commercial ships were either sunk or heavily damaged. Many were European-owned vessels headed to or from Tel Aviv. 3 ships were so badly hit, they were written off completely. Amid the peak of the crisis, Eilat port in southern Israel had to cut operations by 90%. Economists even called it a silent shutdown. Eventually, it shut down completely, laying off over 10,000 workers, according to Israel's Channel 2. Big shipping companies like Maersk and MSC rerouted their vessels around the Cape of Good Hope, causing shipping times to jump from 8 days to over 55 days. Other ports like Haifa and Ashdod faced severe delays, with storage and shipping costs jumping 300% in just a few weeks. This led to a crazy spike in food prices in Tel Aviv. Key impacts of the naval war shipping delays increased from 8 to 45 days. Prices of imported goods rose more than 5 times. Eilat port, 10% of Israel's auto trade, shut down. Israel's finance ministry and the National Security Research Center estimated $4.7 to $7 billion in losses in just 4 months. This includes export halts and a 500% surge in marine insurance costs. The air war. Now back to Yemen. What damage did Israeli airstrikes cause? After more than 70 bunker-busting bombs and over 90 airstrikes, Hodeidah port was completely destroyed. It had once generated around $300 million, but here's the twist. The port had already been operating at only 10% capacity since it was mostly destroyed years ago by the Saudi Emirati coalition. So, in reality, the Houthis lost just 10% of an already crippled port. This was confirmed by a report in the Washington Post. From sea to sky. Then Yahya Saree appeared again, announcing a new phase of the ban, this time targeting the air. He warned airlines to stay away from Tel Aviv's airports. In response, Tel Aviv faced serious disruptions to civil aviation, mostly due to repeated missile alerts from Houthi drone and missile attacks. For instance, Ben Gurion Airport had to cancel over 700 flights, and 27 European airlines, including British Airways and Lufthansa Group, suspended flights to Israel. Over 300,000 flight tickets were voided, and daily passengers dropped from 60,000 to 20,000. A 70% decrease in traffic, leading to key impacts on Israeli aviation. An 80% drop in tourism to Tel Aviv, costing between $3.4 and $4 billion. Over 500,000 flight tickets lost per month. Passenger traffic fell drastically, with numbers still dropping. Next up, let's head back to Sana'a and see how much the Houthis lost from Israeli airstrikes on their airport. The attack on the airport and its consequences. Since Yemen has been under blockade for years, there's been no regular air traffic, except for a few humanitarian and medical flights to Jordan. After the recent Israeli airstrikes, the damage to Sana'a International Airport is estimated at $500 million, according to the airport's director, Khaled Al-Shaif. The damage includes the passenger terminal, the catering building, parts of the runway, and 6 civilian planes destroyed, 3 of which belonged to Yemen Airways. On top of that, their last remaining civilian plane in Sana'a was just destroyed in the latest airstrike. One of the Houthis' most crucial assets, Hodeida port, also took a major hit. After a series of concentrated airstrikes, over 90% of its operational capacity was knocked out. Another key facility, Salif port, which is used for fuel and logistics storage, was also bombed. The result? Massive destruction to warehouses and infrastructure. In retaliation, the Houthis targeted al-Dailami Air Base, north of Sana'a, considered their main airbase. 2 helicopters were damaged in the attack. The Houthis claimed they were already out of service, but, this still shows a direct hit on a military target. Following these events, Mahdi al-Mashat, head of the Houthis' Supreme Political Council, appeared and stated that they had only lost 1% of their military capabilities. This claim was echoed by Russian intelligence, which revealed that Houthi weapons stockpiles are buried more than 1,000 meters deep inside mountain ranges, while the most powerful American bunker buster bomb can only penetrate about 60 meters. The U.S. Former U.S. President Donald Trump had a message for the Houthis. If you don't stop your attacks, we'll rain hell on you like you've never seen. And on March 15, 2025, the U.S. launched a massive air campaign against Houthi targets, hitting over 1,000 sites. But honestly, the strikes led to hundreds of civilian casualties, mainly due to poor intelligence. The U.S. used GBU-57 bunker buster bombs, each weighing 27,000 pounds, stealth bombers from Diego Garcia Base, F-35 and F-18 fighter jets, and 3 aircraft carriers, complete with warships and support fleets. The fallout from the operation was honestly staggering. Over 600 civilians were killed due to poor U.S. targeting. 2 F-18 fighter jets were shot down. Aircraft carriers were damaged, and operational costs just kept rising, totaling about $1 billion. 22 MQ-9 Reaper drones were shot down as well. Each of those drones cost somewhere between $30 and $35 million. So that's a total drone loss of around $735 million. All in all, under both Biden and Trump, the U.S. has lost about $7 billion, according to a report in the New York Times that cited Pentagon sources. But this battle wasn't just happening in the skies or at sea. It actually reached into cyberspace as well. American and Israeli satellites were monitoring Houthi territory around the clock, tracking movements and command centers. But leaked reports revealed that the Houthis had encrypted communications with outside parties, believed to be China, Russia, and Iran. At the same time, a pro-Houthi cyber unit managed to hack surveillance cameras at Israeli facilities in Ashdod port and U.S. military bases in Djibouti. They even leaked data about U.S. naval movements, which the Houthis later used for targeting purposes. The U.S. ended up accusing Russia of helping orchestrate the cyber attacks. And don't forget, there's a Pentagon report confirming that the Houthis actually possess a dangerous air defense system. One of their missiles almost shot down an American F-35 stealth jet. The pilot only escaped by launching flares at the very last second. Russian intelligence officer Alexander Mikhailov, a retired general with the Russian Federal Security Service, said the U.S. decision to step back and leave Tel Aviv behind came down to 2 things. They weren't achieving any real objectives, and Yemen had basically become a resource-draining quagmire for the U.S. Had that missile actually brought down an F-35, its market value would have plummeted, and the U.S. would have become a global laughingstock. So to save face, America walked away, even from its closest ally, according to Sputnik via Mikhailov's statements. With tensions still rising, the big question really remains. Will the world powers pay the price for ignoring the new balance of power in the region? Or is this just the beginning